Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg. I'm Village President Al Larson. In this episode, we'll be joined by Cook County Commissioner Tim Schneider. Then we'll talk to Dave Perillo and Christina Mitchell from Meet Chicago Northwest. We'll close out the program by speaking with Village Clerk Marilyn Karr. All of this and more today here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The Village of Schaumburg lies within the 15th District of Cook County. Mr. Tim Schneider represents Schaumburg as well as surrounding communities. As our commissioner, he's here to tell us about what he does and what the Cook County commissioners do.
Well, first of all, I'm really privileged to be here and sit with you this morning, and I'm glad to be the commissioner for the 15th District of Cook County. The Cook County Board is a governmental body that oversees the largest court system, the largest jail system, and the second largest hospital system in the nation. We have a $4.5 billion budget, and we have 23,000 employees in the county.
Wow.
So it's quite a venture. We also have a very large highway department in which we interact with the villages within my district and try to get as many road improvement projects for the people of Schaumburg and the other 13 municipalities that I represent to allow the taxpayers from Schaumburg to get a bang for their buck.
How long have you been a commissioner?
Well, I was elected for the first time in 2006, re-elected in 2010 and 2014, and really feel it a privilege to oversee the inner workings of the county and try and be that common sense fiscal conservative on the Cook County Board.
You kind of overlook roads too, don't you? Local roads?
Yes, we do. We have a great deal to do with local roads. In fact, in Schaumburg, Roselle Road, Schaumburg Road are both county roads as well as a number of other roadways, and I interact with yourself and other members of your village board and staff and trying to, when I get word that there's potholes that need fixing or roads that aren't being plowed, I get...
Or dead animals picked up.
Or dead animals picked up, which happens with deer and skunks and squirrels and whatever. But we help out a lot as much as we can in interfacing with local municipalities, and I try to do a good job working with great villages like the village of Schaumburg.
What town do you live in?
I live in Bartlett.
Okay.
Yeah, just the western part of the district where people don't even think Cook County exists, but that still is Cook County.
It's kind of low profile then, right?
Yeah, I keep like until it came time.
You have a brother, don't you?
I do have a twin brother.
A twin brother.
So you don't even know if you're talking to me or talking to him right now because we are identical twins. People mistake us all the time. But seriously, the things I do for the residents of Schaumburg and the people in my district is I'm a watchdog on taxpayers' money at the county board. We just unfortunately increased the sales tax, which I believe is going to hurt the people of Schaumburg in this last budget, raising $450 million for the county. I thought it was unnecessary, and I thought it was overburdening great villages like Schaumburg who have this wonderful Woodfield Mall, where we want to keep people shopping there. We don't want to send them across county lines to shop in DuPage, Lake, and Kane counties.
I absolutely agree with that. You know, we're partially in DuPage County, but that's just half our airports in DuPage County and half the airports in Cook County. But so you actually oversee part of the airport then, don't you?
Well, a very small part of it, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but most of what I do is oversee the spending, make sure that we're reining in spending as much as possible at the county. As I said, I'm in the minority of people who are looking at the spending as opposed to, trying to spend more money. And I want to see a bang for our buck. In the last 8 or 10 years, people have had to tighten their belts, in my district, and I think the county needs to do the same. And I'm not in favor of people losing their jobs, but when people retire from the county, I think it's time to look at whether we need to replace that person or not, and maybe shrink our workforce a little bit so that we can rein in taxes and we don't have to increase the sales tax and we don't have to have an ammunition tax. And we just passed an ammunition tax. 2 years ago, we passed a gun tax in Cook County, $25 on guns in Cook County. People are fleeing outside of Cook County now to buy their guns, and now we just passed an ammunition tax. I didn't think it was necessary.
What other taxes are out there?
Well, I don't know. We're taxing just about everything we can. We taxed e-cigarettes in this last tax. We put a 1% hotel tax. on all hotels. Yeah. That hurt the village of
Schaumburg. That's going to hurt us. We've got 25 hotels and 5 more online and 2 more on a planning board.
And I fought really hard to try to keep that out of the budget, but they implemented it anyway.
Now we got a couple of projects that are near and dear to our hearts that we'd like to see Cook County come forward on. And I know they promised it, but my understanding is the money isn't there to build it at this point. And if we have the Toll Highway Authority that is putting in a full interchange at Roselle Road, part of the responsibility for that interchange, Central Road and some other improvements, those are county projects, and we're concerned that maybe that might not be on the radar of Cook County.
Well, as you know, you and I have talked about that. I've talked with your staff, and I'm working very hard with our head of transportation for the county, John Yonan, and with the state, because some of that money is state money that's being held up because of the budget. So once we get the budget passed and get through this, I think I spoke with our director of highways and transportation, and that's a very important project to the county.
Yeah, well, and certainly to us too, and certainly to the region, because we've been waiting a long time for a full interchange.
And then your interchange at Meacham and interchange at Roselle Road. I mean, Schaumburg's already a booming economy thanks to the things and the leadership that it's had over the years, and it can only grow greater with these 2 interchange improvements.
Well, we certainly are pleased at the position you've taken on some of these projects, and certainly look forward to coming out and digging a shovel in the ground.
I'd really enjoy doing that, and I hope we can do that in the very near future.
Oh, yeah, me too. What are some of the initiatives that the county has, in terms that don't require additional taxation?
Well, the biggest thing we're working on, I think, right now is criminal justice reform.
Okay.
We have 2 years ago, we had over 10,000 people in our jails. Now, in Cook County, it costs $52,000 a year to incarcerate somebody in our jail system. Can you imagine what we could do? We've already lowered the population in our jails down to about 8,500 because 75% of the people in our jails are there for non-violent offenses. They're in there for minor drug charges with mandatory sentences. We have to get those people out in the community, get them back in their homes, and get them into rehabilitation programs is what they need. They don't need incarceration at $50-some thousand a year of taxpayers' expense. So we need to work on programs like that. That'll free up other monies so that we can provide more roads and transportation infrastructure for places like Schaumburg.
Now, what did you do before you were Cook County Commissioner?
Well, I still do. I own a small car wash in Elgin.
A car wash?
I own a small 4-bay self-serve car wash. So you just wash
small cars? Is that
no, this is just a small car wash. It's a small footprint. It's just you go in there, you do it yourself. And I also own a golf course. I own the Golf Club of Illinois in Algonquin, and I spend a great deal of time running that. And as you know, I'm also chairman of the Illinois Republican Party as well.
Okay. Well, Tim, thanks for being on the show.
Pleasure to be here with you, Mayor.
Are your taste buds looking for something new and exciting? Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. If you're looking for a new restaurant or cuisine, make sure you check out the 3rd Annual Chicago Northwest Restaurant Week. Here to tell us about the exciting event are Dave Perillo and Christina Mitchell from Meet Chicago Northwest. So how do you meet Chicago Northwest?
We'd like to meet you. Thank you for having us, Mayor. Meet Chicago Northwest is the convention bureau that represents Schaumburg and 7 other communities in the northwest suburbs.
And what do you do?
I'm the president of the organization, so it's my fun to be a cheerleader and to work with a great group of staff to talk about all the great things that we have here, hotels, restaurants, and attractions.
Christina, what do you do?
I'm the partnership manager, Mayor, and so I am out in the community meeting with our partners, making sure they're taking advantage of all the marketing opportunities that we have for them for visitors that are coming to the area.
Now, how do you balance this when you have Schaumburg that has all these hotels, and you get Itasca maybe, or some other town that maybe doesn't? How do you keep them satisfied?
Well, it's very interesting. Each of our communities is very unique and has particular needs, and we really concentrate a lot of effort on understanding what's important to each of the communities. Schaumburg, is a vibrant meetings and business destination with a convention center, and obviously that's really what we are focusing on and promoting restaurants. Some of our other communities, really more local community promotion is important to them, about their festivals, about their downtowns like Arlington Heights. So it's really focusing on what would bring a visitor to each different community.
Well, you guys, you have events every year, all through the year. What are some of these events that you sponsor? Some of these events that you promote?
Sure. As far as community partnerships, we really like to work with our communities. For instance, we're one of the sponsors with the September Fest. We're very proud to sponsor the Taste area. We do the similar type of work promoting a Scottish festival in Itasca. Downtown Arlington Heights has a Taste, which they call the main event. Roselle has the Roselle Fest, Rose Fest. Rolling Meadows has a really cute corn festival that we help them promote also. So on the festival side, we
have a corn festival.
Corn festival. It's a corn fest at the church, and I think for $5 you can have a hamburger, all the corn you can eat, and a soda pop.
Really?
Yeah.
How long has this been going on?
I think like 30 years at Corn Festival.
So you kind of inherited that, didn't you?
It's been here, yeah. As long as the corn's growing, I think they're going to move forward.
Yeah. What's your background, Christina?
I've been in sales and marketing for a number of years, so part of my job with Meet Chicago Northwest is not only working with the partners, but also doing some sales efforts and coordinating our big promotion, Chicago Northwest Restaurant Week.
Tell me about that.
All right. Well, we're really excited because it's the 3rd annual Chicago Northwest Restaurant Week. Right now we have 40 restaurants signed up. 27 of them are from Schaumburg. What we do is we ask the restaurants to submit 3-course menus at a fixed price, which is currently $10 or $20 for a 3-course lunch, or $20, $30, or $40 for a 3-course dinner. And once they've submitted a menu, we promote it through a multimedia campaign, which I can ask maybe Dave would like to talk about that.
Yeah.
Sure. We have some great partners. Our print media partner is the Daily Herald and the Daily Herald Business Ledger, so we're running a lot of spotlight advertising with those folks. We're doing a lot of television this year, and our partner is Comcast, so we're putting it into the Northwest Suburb homes to talk about it. A lot of radio. WCIU, the River radio station, is doing lunch spots plugging Restaurant Week. We're doing digital billboard advertising within Woodfield Mall and the Grand Court, some of the digital billboards driving folks in. And then in some of the far western suburbs, like towards Rockford and whatnot, we're working with some of the print folks. So it's really a multimedia promotion of these restaurants. And our goal is to have folks to understand that we want them to come here to dine and then maybe spend some money too.
Well, when is it?
That's a good question. Restaurant Week is 10 days from February 18th to February 28th. Okay. So it's kind of a slower time of the year for the restaurants after Valentine's Day is over, and we have a really engaged group of restaurateurs that has an advisory committee for us that really helped us put this together.
Who's on the advisory committee?
Christina, why don't you tell us?
Sure. We have Andy John Calconis. He's with Chicago Prime Steakhouse and Chicago Prime Italian. Sonia Hagopian is with Morton's The Steakhouse.
Oh, Sonia, absolutely.
Yes. Aaron Joust.
Who could miss Sonia?
Yes, you got it. Aaron Joust is with the Shaw's and Tokyo Pub. And then Gina Brown is with Seasons 52, along with a number of others that are from outside of the community.
What kind of boost does that do for the restaurant's bottom line?
Oh, I can talk about that. So we're in our 3rd year, and last year alone we had reported about 5,000 Chicago Northwest Restaurant Week diners come into the restaurants. The feedback has been that the great part about it is it generates extra business during that slow time that Dave was talking about, but also brings in new diners or new customers for these restaurants. And that is what they really like to see is not, they like to see their regulars, but they love to be able to bring in new customers. And this promotion does that.
Build their brand.
You got it.
Yeah.
The other important thing, Mayor, is that Restaurant Week is a community-funded benefit. The communities that fund the Convention Bureau, so we do not charge our restaurants to be part of this. We feel it's part of our mission to be developing tourism for multiple segments, and we think the restaurant segment really deserves some great attention.
Where does the money come from?
The money comes from two sources. It comes from the state portion of the hotel bed tax and the local portion of the hotel bed tax. So communities like Schaumburg give us a percentage, and that makes about a third of our budget, and about $1 million of our budget comes, or usually comes, from the state of Illinois in the form of a state tourism grant.
Are they holding it?
We actually have our grant contract. We've not seen any real dollars, but we actually have received the contract last week.
So they got a contract, but no money.
It's a fair deal, right?
How does that work?
It was part of the, in December, if you recall, there was a special appropriations measure that was passed, and funding local convention bureaus was one of the line items.
Okay. And from your perspective, how is our convention center doing?
From our perspective, our convention center is very impactful and doing quite well. We have a great partnership with Lisa Timbo and her sales team, and are working really diligently on on dates to promote it. And we're really proud of the work that the village came up with the state to have a pilot program to promote the convention center, offering incentives. So I think we feel it's doing quite well. We think they're doing a quite strategic job. And also, as an example, this past week was the fishing show that's just behind us, and I understand it was something like 15,000 attendees in one day.
That had to be a good show. I missed that show. That was somebody who used to fish a lot more than he does now. Yeah. Really holding up a muskie, and
really big fish.
Northern pike.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
The other thing I'm really excited about is the infrastructure improvement around the convention center. I mean, it's really exciting to go around Illinois and talk about the new exit that's coming up, that's being put on, that's going to make the entryway to the convention center much stronger. I think the repurposing of the Motorola campus, and with the Zurich development there, really is going to be a great commercial companionship.
That's a real icon, isn't it?
It is a real icon, and I think it's really important for folks to understand that as our hotels do well, our hotels also do well as our business centers do well. So I think it's really important to have these type of buildings here and filled.
No, I've got to believe a lot of the restaurants that are out there now are being proposed because of the convention center and the kind of draw it has.
I think it's very interesting, the development that has happened in and along Meacham Road in particular. It's become very strong, and that's for us, as far as when we're promoting the region. It's it's great to have destination restaurants, but it's great to be a restaurant destination when you can say you have multiple restaurants close together, and to give visitors, especially conventioneers, multiple opportunities really close. They ask for that.
Can't wait for that Ron Santos site to develop something nice over there.
That's been a long time coming.
Yeah, it is. It's either an excess problem or they want too much money for it. So but we'll see. Anyway, there's going to be a big event at Zurich this afternoon, I guess.
Excellent.
Bringing in the ambassador from Switzerland, and so should be interesting.
Is this a ceremony for the new building that's happening today?
Yes. So
very fun.
Christina?
Well, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Mayor, it's always a pleasure.
Good to see you again. Get an inside look behind village government and get to know your village clerk. Learn more next here on Speaking of Schaumburg. The village clerk is an elected 4-year term position which maintains village records and much more. Joining us now is Marilyn Karr, Schaumburg Village Clerk. Welcome to Speaking of Schaumburg, Marilyn.
Thank you.
How long have you been the village clerk?
It was 11 years in November.
Really? But who's counting?
Yeah, right.
Did you have any idea as to what the job entailed when you were first elected?
None whatsoever. I was getting ready to retire, and you asked me to fill the position, and I thought, when I retire, I've got to do something, even if it's a Walmart greeter. And this opportunity came along, and it was just my good fortune.
You can just walk right across the street, right?
Right across the street. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I usually drive.
Well, tell me what a clerk does. What are some of the things?
Well, record keeper. I do the minutes at the board meeting. make sure that they're transcribed and out in a timely manner, keep the records of the ordinances and the resolutions, make sure the contracts come back in signed so I can put them with the appropriate papers. Do some registration for voters, but now since the Cook County Clerk has that online, anybody can go online at their own leisure and register themselves. If they come in and we do it for them, we follow the same procedure to go in and do that. It makes it a lot easier. But some people don't have computer skills, so we do it for them.
How long have you lived in Schaumburg?
I'm an original owner over at Ashton Park and moved in '87.
Oh my.
Been there ever since.
It was a good year, 87.
It was a good year. It was a good year. Yeah. I keep joking with people and telling them when I can't handle the steps in my townhouse, I'm just going to get my walker, toddle down the street to Friendship Village, and I'm not leaving Schaumburg.
So you didn't have an idea at all as to what the job entailed?
No.
So what did you do when you showed up and
Well, Renee had just been appointed deputy clerk because when Penny left, there was nobody to take over. So she didn't have a lot of background as to the specifics of the clerk's job. She knew what was going on as far as our village records and procedures went. So we found out, and Penny had told me that the clerks were very big on education, and we had several different groups that offered background in the various duties of the clerk. So I figured Renee had to learn just as much as I did, so we've both been going to the local clerks organizations, and when we have our bi-monthly meetings, we have some kind of an educational program. Our state group, the Municipal Clerks of Illinois, sponsors a conference in the fall, and it's 4 days, and it's filled with different presenters. Most of them are very good. Some of them, you know, just like anything.
Sure.
But you always gain something from them. And then we have our International Institute of Municipal Clerks. They're headquartered in California. And we have that conference in May. And we have people from all over the world. They come from Ireland, Jerusalem, or Israel, England, just all over they come in. We've had them from Australia. They come in. Germany.
Really?
Had a nice group from Germany last year. And not just one, there's usually 2 or 3.
Oh my.
So,
okay.
And then that program is so structured that if you go into a meeting, they scan you in. And if you have to leave in the middle, you've got 10 minutes, they scan you out, scan you back in. So if you want to get credit for your points towards your certification, they're serious about you staying there and participating and learning.
Sounds to me like the criteria for village clerk is much more stringent than any other elected official.
That's kind of what I understand from talking to some of the trustees with the events that they go to. But we're all there to learn.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what did you do before you?
Before, when I graduated from high school, I went into banking and never left it.
Really?
Every time we moved, I got another job in a bank and worked my way up till I was manager of the branch of Savings of America that was on the corner of American Lane and Meacham, where Weber Grill is. You know, they tore that building down, and I managed that branch, and then Tallman bought out Savings of America, and they closed my branch because Tallman also bought Cragen and Tallman. They were one. So they moved me up to the Tallman branch as assistant manager, which is now Bank of America, the Woodfield branch on Gulf Road.
What's your hometown?
Niles, Ohio.
Niles, Ohio. Where's Niles, Ohio?
It's on the eastern edge of Ohio between Youngstown and Warren, not far from Pittsburgh, southeast of Cleveland.
Okay. Was that where you went to school? Was that
high school? We're all through school. Got married there, and then we moved to Mansfield, Ohio, and then from there ended up in Chicago.
Okay. What made you choose Schaumburg?
We were renting a place in Glenview, and we knew that the the landlord was going to sell, and he told us we had a year, so we knew that was coming, and we looked for a place to buy, and we had found a small condo up in Buffalo Grove, and we kept watching it, and it wasn't getting built, so we got out of that one and started driving around. And the year before, I had driven through, and we liked to go to the art fairs, and saw the Prairie Center Art Fair, and that was the first year, I guess, that they had it. And we went to it, and then when we were driving around, we saw Ashton Park, and I said, let's look in there, because the Prairie Center and everything was right across the street, and I was so taken with that. So we went over there and went to the display unit and talked with them, and there was a unit that the people's mortgage had fallen through. So we went and looked at it, and it was going to be ready when we needed it. But since we had that trouble with the one in Buffalo Grove, we had the lawyer look over everything, so it took about an extra 2 weeks, which we stayed in a motel. And then we moved in and been there ever since. Don't plan on leaving.
It was going to be the entry into the golf course, into
it was.
subdivision.
Yes, it was. And so happy that the Park District bought that. Oh, yeah.
Got lucky.
Did, absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Well, that'll do it for this edition of Speaking of Schaumburg. Join us again next month for an all-new episode. Until then, I'll see you around town, and I'll see you at the Village Hall.
You sure will.